Well, hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome if you are joining us today. So today I am here with my guest, Bart Boting, co-founder of Orange and Blue Services. So Bart, it is an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for asking me, Katie. Thanks a lot.
Great. Would you mind letting everybody know a little bit about what you do and what your business does?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so like 4.5 years ago, I started the recruitment business. Before this, I was active in manufacturing, like a manufacturing operator and a production manager, production of goods, production of food. And 4.5 years ago, I decided, after a rough period in Corona, to start my recruitment business without any agency experience. And yeah, just trying to recruit for roles that I did before, like the manufacturing operator, using the permanent placement method, but also doing the temp placements, and really, deciding to pick a certain niche. And after 4.5 years, it did go really well. I did some coaching here and there, and I think now 6 months ago, I joined your program. So that's the reason why we are here right now.
Yeah, brilliant. So let's go back to that then, about 6 months ago, because I can remember the call we had together actually very, very, very well. But tell our listeners a little bit about why you wanted to join the program. What was happening for you at that point?
Yeah, so the reason why I wanted to join your program is, as you can understand, 4.5 years ago, when I started my journey into recruitment, I didn't have experience as a recruitment business owner. I didn't have experience as an entrepreneur. So I just started with a proactive attitude that I do have. Just trying things. You're looking on YouTube, you're trying things you read online. I mean, the business model is not really difficult. I mean, you have a candidate and you have a client and you want to place them and you get a fee. So you go on and you do things and you do it really on a simple way. But eventually you want to, you look at your surroundings and you think, I'm doing all the things myself. I'm working really hard. You want to improve your business, and you can run it smoother, and you can do things better. I was running with 2-3 virtual assistants, which was really working okay for me. But eventually I was, as you call it, the chief of fucking everything officer. And I still felt like that, and I know that it could get better. And I think I saw some of your videos and I tried to investigate, what you guys at Centered Excellence do. And the things that really triggered me were, of course, stories that I heard from other of your mentees, but also that you help a lot with implementation and you really look at it from a top view. You are the entrepreneur and you have to let the business run for you. I mean, that's the best position you can put yourself in. So yeah, I was in a position, I was doing everything. I was making really good revenue, but yeah, I didn't have any rest. I experienced sometimes stress, thinking about it a lot, doing everything myself. Well, I know it could get better,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's at that point, don't you, where you realize there's potential, but you can't. Yeah, you're at that point, aren't you, where there's potential, but you can't necessarily. You don't actually know exactly how. It's the how, isn't it? How exactly am I going to put this into a plan or put this into a sort of step-by-step process to actually make this happen? Because when you are there, and particularly, you're almost your own success stops you from being able to then work on the business rather than in the business, and actually look at, well, what are the changes that we can make that will enable me to step back so that I can start to put some of these frameworks in place or structures in place. So tell us a bit about some of those challenges that you were facing, or what was a problem for you. I mean, revenue wasn't, but what was a problem for you at that point?
Yeah, it's just, I think I was doing everything. I was thinking about how can I keep the pipeline of my clients continue to grow and keep on going. I mean, I was randomly calling in a week. I was doing some email automation, I did some sourcing, but it was all really unstructured. I didn't have any methods. I didn't have any systems. I was really keeping all the balls in the air. I was really not really good at delegating, I guess. I mean, I gave my virtual assistants a lot of assignments, but it was, really, how do you say this? Top down. I didn't really let them think, and I didn't really put them in a certain role. So I was all over the place. I was really spread thin over my entire business, and I don't know, something triggered me. I think I saw a couple of you guys' videos on YouTube and on things you do, and you have also this starter course, like your 5-day course. I think I did this.
Yes.
It really triggered me. You gave already some explanations, like how do you systemize your business and how do you think about it, and like really some key points that you have to adjust in your business to get a really big output. I mentioned, I can remember you also mentioned the Pareto principle, like the 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
It's really obvious, but the way you explained it, and I think we'll go into this a little bit further, but that really triggered me to think different about the business,
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And that's the thing, isn't it? When you're, and a lot of people can relate to this, you're, a great salesperson, you've been a great recruiter, you then go to grow your own recruitment business with the same sort of principles that you applied as a biller, which will get you so far. But then, of course, you reach that sort of ceiling of complexity, which is, I need to hire people in, I need to bring other people in so that, like you're saying, I can put these systems in place, and that means that we can scale the business beyond myself. But to do that, there are certain things that have to happen to enable that growth. And this is about becoming what we call a systems builder rather than that sales builder.
Yeah, and exactly what you say. Yeah, to maybe fill it. I mean, at the same time, I was doing your course, and a little bit before, I was also reading this book, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. Maybe you know it. And
great book.
Things that you said, they really match up with what they say in the book. And me and my business partner, we were ready to hire and to really grow. But when we grow, we want to do it really good, properly, with a good fundament. And I know you guys are really the recruitment experts, and you really know how to build these fundamental things in your business. Also, what things that I learned from your 5-day course. Yeah. So we really wanted to, get on this recruitment coaching from you guys at Center of Excellence, grow. We had the mindset that we wanted to hire people, and when we hire, we wanted to put them in systems and structures because they thrive. People thrive best in certain systems, and I know that you guys could give me these things.
Yeah, great. So let's talk about one of the first things that you did then after coming into the program. And you mentioned there about hiring. What was one of the strategies or frameworks that you looked at and put into place?
Yeah, so of course there are many things, but to summarize the top ones that's really stick to me at the beginning, I think one of the first ones, and they collapse over a little bit, is maybe the first one is the different types of people you have in a business. So we did an assessment. And some kind of profile is built, like you have in my 6, 7, 8 types of profiles. I'm not sure. And it all really gives you so much insights, like, okay, of course I'm this profile. Maybe you know it in your head, but you know, like, okay, I have to be on this place because if I go to the recruiter or sourcer place, I'm totally out of my energy. So for instance, I'm a star. And I should be doing BD, promoting presentations, getting onto with new clients. My business partner is a mechanic, and he should be going on with the systems, with the structures, with the processes. So we already made the decision. When we hire people, we give them the assessment. We can get them from you. And we know that, okay, we can place people in certain places. For us, that was a big one, to really classify every unique person on his certain spot. Another one that really made a lot of impact was that we mentioned this a little bit earlier, the Pareto principle, like the 80-20 rule. Coach said, okay, and it was really a tough exercise, but get all the revenue and all the placements from the couple of last years into one Excel. It was quite some work. I was on it for like 1-2 days, full days. But then you guys give us these systems, you put in all your data, and it really rolls out like what delivered you the most revenue, what delivered you the biggest outcome. And you can already see the, how do you say this? The similarities in the ones that really scored high, like, or the ones that give you the most revenue. You're going to think about give you the most pleasure, which clients, which give you the best, for which client do you want to work the most? And that was called the business X-ray, I believe. And it really clarifies for me, like, okay, this is the type of client. And then we make like a sort of ideal client from this top 80% revenue, the 20% clients that give you the 80% of benefits, pleasure, and money. And you really, you just go on and analyze, what client is this? What is my avatar client? What is their pain? What is their, for what do they come out of their bed? What is their pain? How do you trigger them? What keeps them up at night? And you really describe it. And that really, of course, you know it somewhere, you know it. And it's really, how do you say this? It's simple but not easy. I'm not sure what the statement is. But because you give these, I'm not sure what the English word is, but in Dutch it's, je geeft bepaalde handvaten. And then you know, like, okay, this is the avatar client, and I should go after these guys, and I know how to trigger them. So that was at the beginning stages for me, I think, really insightful.
Yes, you're right. So what you're talking about there is our business X-ray, and that's, you're absolutely right. It's a deep dive underneath the bonnet of your business to actually look at what is actually really going on. And you're right, Pareto's law. What's the 20% that gives you 80% of your results? Because when we know what that is and we double down in those areas where you get the greatest success, it is so much easier and faster to scale your business, but also to double your profits, triple your profits, because you're focusing in the area where you already know that you're good at. And history leaves clues. And so when we start to get clear, like you're saying, of, okay, what's the pain points? What are the desires of my avatar? How can I really speak to them in a way that is so engaging that when I'm talking to them on email, on LinkedIn, and of course face-to-face, but through other marketing channels, I can really get my marketing to work well for me, because I'm allowing them to find me really easily and raise their hand to say, yes, you're the type of expert that I really need that help in. So it makes it so much easier for your clients, as well as, of course, it makes it easier for us as well. Because, if you're too generalist, then you just become, generally known, and you are this, generally good at things, but you're not, if you like, we call it the surgeon versus, the doctor.
GP,
you're not, you're not seen as that expert, and so you can get missed. People will go to those experts.
Yeah, definitely.
So off the back of that and doing that business X-ray and honing in then on your key areas, what difference has that made for you?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest differences was, of course, it really doesn't really change, like it doesn't change your whole business, but it really changes the course that you go. I mean, previously, before the business X-ray, I was always like, okay, well, this is a good job. I think we can do this. And somehow that's, of course, you're an entrepreneur and you're a recruiter, so you're a business owner.
I can feel that.
You can take the roles, you can do it, but now it just gives you the insights. And of course, it's still difficult because you remain the business owner, but now for a fact, like, okay, this is what brings me the most revenue. So this keeps my business running. And it gives you much more clarity to say no to the things you don't want and yes to the things you need. And because of the data, because of the things that you did from the last couple of 3 years, you made the data, you give it insight. It's 3 years, so it's a lot of time. So the data is, it doesn't lie, you have to go this direction. So that made it really clear for me, I think.
I think so. And like you're saying, it makes it a lot easier then, doesn't it, to determine, because time is more important than money.
And also, maybe, sorry to interrupt, but also what comes into my mind is, you really know what kind of decision makers did I spoke with those clients. Were this for my field, were this the production managers or were this the HR representatives, and what kind of relationship that I had with them? Because I realized that, like, maybe 70 to 80% of my clients were like some sort of referral. It opens your eyes like, oh, I thought I did a lot of cold acquisition, but like most business comes from some sort of deeper relationship, you know. That's also the insight it gave me.
Yeah, and that is an insight that I think a lot of our clients get when they come to us, is that they think they've got to go and reinvent the wheel, and that to grow the business that they want to the size that they want with the profit that they want means they're going to have to do lots of things differently. And actually, or they're going to have to start new niches, or they're going to have to get more jobs or more consultants, or X, Y, and Z. It's all about thinking that they need to expand and do more, lots and lots and lots, i.e. more activity. But actually, what we're able to show people is when you understand what it is under your bonnet that makes you so unique and gives you the greatest results fastest and simplest, it is much easier to scale quickly, but also you're putting your efforts into those areas, which means that it's about quality, not quantity. And that means you get the space. That means you're able to get more time back, which gives you more freedom, which enables you to grow faster. It's an interesting, it's a very interesting shift that I think a lot of people are quite surprised when they start working with us. Wow, it's actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Maybe I've been overcomplicating it in my head, which is why I hadn't made a decision to do anything about it until now, because I just thought it was going to be a lot of work.
It's a cliche, but in most cases less is more, in my opinion. And I really said no to some things, and I must admit I also said yes to something from which I know I shouldn't do it, and eventually it came out that, okay, man, why did you it still remains difficult. I mean, you still have to make the decisions yourself, but you get much more information and you get much more insights for yourself and in your business, and that's what the X-ray was really good for me.
Great. So you did the X-ray, and off the back of that, you got clarity on your niche, you got clarity on your avatar client, and then you actually started putting together like an outreach funnel, didn't you? A sales funnel. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. So of course, I must say that I had a niche, manufacturing operator, but eventually the niche was even more niche than I thought it was. So that's also the insight it gave me. Like you did things that were niche, but it was even more niche than I thought. And it's scary because you think I'm going to say no to a lot of stuff, but eventually you're going to say yes to more time and revenue, which you just mentioned. And after that, when I got clarity on what my real niche was, and what I got a lot of revenue from, I wanted to start up funnels. And my initial response was, I want to do cold email, I want to do new clients, new business, new. And my coach, Jane, shout out to Jane, which is a really great coach. She said, no. You go back and you go, what did the business X-ray say? I said, 80% referrals. So you're going to do a new outreach, or you're going to reach out to your warm network? I'm like, warm network, but how big is it? Well, just make a list for yourself. Make a list. And I'm writing, and I started writing. And eventually it was like a list of like 80 or 100 people that I or did business with, or really like me, or with it, which I knew from my past when I worked in production. And I had a threshold to automate or systemize that. I was like, how can I systemize warm outreach? Yeah, just think about it. Just try this. And you have a VA, Yeah, I do. Well, why don't you just, make a list of all these people, put in for instance, the LinkedIn URL, put in your message. You have this sort of magic message that you can send. In Dutch, I altered it a little bit, but that's no problem. And you just send it to people and you reach out. And the goal is to have a small call with this warm network. And I believe that I started the funnel, I reached out, and I already had like new business in the first month or first 1.5 months. And it made a calculation, like the new business that I got from just warm outreach was, I think now it's even higher, but it was like in 1-2 months, I had a pipeline of like 400K, 500K or something like that, just from the warm network. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that is the potential that is underneath people's noses when you go through that process
Yeah.
of, the business X-ray to dive underneath to get absolute clarity on it.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. The gold is there. It's
Yeah.
about sifting through, isn't it, to find it? That's the difference.
It's that, and it's being guided by coaches like you, just doing work and grabbing your attention back, and no, do this, focus on this, do this for 90 days. And I'm really, a young dog that's going after every toy and ball. So I really need to have this. And eventually, with the help of Jane, I just made a system, and I will never have to look back to my warm network of, because I just got a system. And I told my VA, you're going to do this every 3 months. You're going to do a small follow-up, and you're going to do it again.
Yeah.
And that's just going on the background. So it's out of my head, and it's just running.
Brilliant. Fabulous.
Yeah.
And that brings us nicely on to the models, doesn't it? Because one of the other insights that came out of the back of the process, the business X-ray, getting clarity on your avatar and then your service offering, was how you actually wanted to structure the business. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so initially, of course, it's really a famous model to do the 360 degrees. So like it's a recruitment consultant, as you call it. You do sourcing, opening jobs on the job boards, interviewing, intaking, sourcing, placing, negotiating, acquiring new customers, everything. And it's really a unique profile, in my opinion. I mean, someone who can source and really can talk an hour with a candidate is really someone different than just wants to get new business the entire day. So that was really the insight that also I got already from the assessment part that we did it on the first, one of the first parts of your coaching. And I thought, like, if I'm going to build a business and I'm going to build it good, I want to know what the best models are. So you explained a couple of types, and eventually you divide the recruitment process up in 3 parts, and 360 divided by 3, 120 3 times. And the first part is like really recruitment sourcing on the front end, to say it like this, or the back end, just how you want to call it. And the middle part is like account management, building out the relationship with the client, small talk with the candidate, placing and guiding the temp workers or just placing the permanent workers. And the last one is like just per sales hunting, so like new business, strategic networking, getting in new business, doing the negotiations for the better fees, stuff like this. So right now, my business partner and I are on the sales side still, but we are already recruiting for the sales tiger. And then you have just model complete. What we did right now is we coupled a recruiter with an account manager. They form small agile teams. And the account manager can just place the candidates, build out the clients, maybe do some acquiring with the MVC strategy, and the recruiter just sources, catches the people that apply for the job. It does the intake, prepares the CV and the intake, goes to the account manager places, maybe gets in a new job, but soon the sales account manager, the last 120, will pump down the vacancies to the account management and recruiting teams. So that's one of the insights, because there are different people, and you want to put people in a power.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to put people where their strengths are, as you say, and you know where your strengths are, and you're working with those strengths. And then similarly, the type of individual and the type of skills that you need to be that account manager are very different to we need to be doing the sales role. And at the same time, that resourcing function that you're saying, going out finding candidates, that's it. That's a role in itself, isn't it? Because you need attention to detail, you need structure, you need to like repetition, which as a salesperson, that's quite the opposite of what we like. So, you need that attention to detail in those roles, don't you? So it is quite different.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it's much easier to find a typical profile like this. I mean, I know that my partner and I spoke to someone 8 months ago, and we didn't really have your coaching, and we had this guy in front of us for a job interview to work at Orange and Blue, and was a really good sales guy, really, really a hunter. But we were like, man, this guy doesn't have any recruitment experience. He's just a really good sales guy. And we said no, but eventually now think 2 months ago, my partner and I spoke, and like, oh, I think this guy would be a really good sales guy, because his only role is to have a good, build up the relation, fast guy, fast story, get into vacancies, speed, bonus driven. It's a totally different profile. So now he can fit in. And moral of the story is, I think you can put in people on their place much more faster and easier regarding your own recruitment for your own business, because like that. And what I know, there's a really famous movies called Founder. It's about the startup of McDonald's.
I know it. Yeah,
And because they also really systemized their business, and it's much more easier to put the people in place when you systemize your business. So it becomes more easier to hire and recruit and retain. And
it does. I mean, it's a great example. Founder. I remember that Michael Keaton, isn't it, who plays Ray Kroc, and you're right. It's McDonald's love it or hate it as a franchise or an organization. It is very, very well. It's a great example of systems and how to structure a business into those sort of stations or systems, so that it is more like a production line. I'm not saying recruitment is production line, because it's not. However, there are aspects in every single business that have to have systemization and processes to it. And once you have those in a recruitment business, it makes it so much easier, because you're right, you're not limited then, or you're not relying on a maverick, you're not relying on one person to do 3 different types of roles, which is impossible. But also it is much easier to hire when you are hiring in those specialist skills. And you get the right type of person then that's absolutely brilliant at what they do, versus somebody who's about 20% good at the job. And that's because they can only play in their key strengths. So off the back of these changes that you've made, what improvements have you seen? You mentioned about you've got a pipeline now of you said £400,000 worth of business coming through. What other improvements or growth have you experienced or seen?
Katie, we're in a good place. I mean, we're really comfortable in our skin. We have low stress levels. We know what we need to do. We know we can build in systems that are repeatable, and eventually, like every other business, it comes down to good people and playing the numbers game. So if we have the good people in place, and we can use the funnels that we learned from you, and we can just get in repeatable business, getting the pipeline filled. I mean, there's also something that, it's really easy, but due to you guys, I work with the scorecard system. It's really a KPI system, and it gives me so much insight to just every week. We have a weekly opening meeting, and it's 10 minutes, and I'm only there to check in the numbers. Is there an issue? My account managers have 3 possible solutions and 1 preferred. It's just putting in the dots, and they're doing their things, and really, I can really, everything is just much more insightful. It gives me much more clarity. I know what I have to do. I know the ratios that come from the scorecard. That's also a nice, because you see, like, okay, well, this means that for, like, say, 5 resumes that they have sent, there's placement. So I can just really say to these guys, okay, guys, we need 4 placements a month, so you need 5 resumes a week. I mean, it's really, the math is really simple. So it gives you much more clarity to guide your business and coach your employees. So that's also something that helped me a lot.
Great. So increased revenue coming through, increased flow of jobs coming through, better quality jobs. What else have you?
Maybe also good to mention that really it was a long training module for me, but it was also really insightful, was the conversion system. So qualifying the leads, I mean, qualifying leads was a little bit like, I don't know what do you mean? A lead is a lead, right? I want to get a job. Qualify the lead. And that means, like, for every business that's different. But for me, it was like, okay, you want logically, and that's also coming from the business way, by the way, but you want a vacancy that's new. I mean, if it's like open for half a year, why the hell was it open, for half a year? You want exclusive, or you want, like in my business, a volume job with maybe one other agency. You want that you can have direct communication with a hiring manager. You don't want to have some sort of VPO system there that you just put in resumes. You don't know where it goes, So I can go on, but there's like a list of 10 boxes that I check. And we literally implemented the sort of the gold job system. So everybody in our business knows what a gold job is. And they qualify, like, okay, is it a gold job? Okay, yeah. Then you can work on it. If it's not a gold job, why do you want to work on it, man? I mean, if we say no to this, we do say yes to maybe 2 other gold jobs. When the other maybe something else. So qualifying the lead, it was really an open door, but also really insightful.
Great.
Last week I turned down the vacancy. Everything was okay. It was a beautiful business. I went there. I shook the hand of the owner. But they didn't fit the criteria, and of course it was really hard because you're a business owner. You think you say no to revenue, but when you say no to this, again, you say yes to a lot of other things.
Brilliant. That's it. They say, don't they? You want to say no to 99% of things, because actually, if you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. But also, not everything is exactly what you want to do. You really want to hone in on focus on the key things that are the gold, like you say.
Yeah.
And what about your personal life? How has that improved? How have you, for you and your partner, your co-founder, how have you found things have worked for you outside of work as well as inside?
Yeah, so I think outside of work, things worked out pretty good now. Of course, we hired a team, something that we should have done earlier. But you heard that a lot. It is people management, but if you don't hire people, you cannot build a business. That's simple as it is. Only if you can write code and you can multiply it 1,000,000 times, but most people can't. Hire people. I have 1 day in a week. That's my I decided daddy day. So I'm fully with my son. My business partner has his day also on a Wednesday. I have it on Monday. We put ourselves in a totally different position, both of us. So we are now group owners. We are management team group owners. We are in a totally different level. We think in a different level. We don't say, how are we going to do this? But we say, who is going to do this?
Great.
It's totally different shift, and of course it's a really big part you, but also due to you're working on your mindset. I heard you say that you went to Joe Dispenza one day. Well, you're going to follow stuff like this. In the Netherlands, we have a guy called Michael Pilarczyk. It's a really famous guy, does a lot of mindset stuff. We also hired a personal coach, my business partner and I, because we want to trigger our mindset even more. So we're in a total different position. I know the future is bright. I know there are going to be downturns, and there are going to be things that will happen, but I know that we built a person, and the person that we built is the biggest benefit, because even if you take away all my money right now, I know I can build something back up because I'm a different person than I was, let's say, a year ago.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, hats off to you. It's all about taking the action. Yeah. But any final comments you want to make, or to anyone who maybe it was in or is in a similar situation to what you were 6 months ago? Any sort of final advice to them?
Well, the advice I can give you is, for me, this is really a no-brainer. Coaching is the smallest investments you can do with the biggest output. It has the biggest ROI that I can think. I invest in a lot of things. I invest in real estate, in shares, in crypto. I do everything. But it's really cliche, but really invest in yourself. Do some sort of coaching. Of course, you guys are a really good example, but also other coaches. Do it. The return on investment is really great. And it is really an investment. It helped my business. It helped me clear my head, put in systems in place, taking a leap forward in my business, not only revenue-wise, but also what I just explained, growing as a person, thinking on a different level. Yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer. If you have a doubt, come and talk to me, or go and join the 5-day course, to have an insight.
Yeah.
It's it's nothing. I mean, you have you have one placement and you already make back the amount, or two placements. I'm not sure what your business revenue is, but
yeah, 100%. You're right. That's the reality, isn't it? It is.
yeah.
It's a small amount. And the key thing, the recipe I always say for success is somebody that will just take the action. Actually, the rest of it,
Yeah, but
the rest of
yes,
it's taken care of.
of course, it's action. I mean, if you don't want to take action, don't do this. But if you're
Right.
an action taker, and most business owners are, do this.
Yeah.
And I would 100 times prefer to take action and somebody hold my hand than take action and just fucking do something and just see where it ends. I mean, so that's simple as it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
very true. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Bart. And I hope if you're listening, you have enjoyed this conversation and you're going to take one thing away from today and implement that into your business, whatever that is. And if you do want shifts in your business with less time and energy, simple systems, that's what we're talking about here, tactics that will grow your business, create more abundance with way less stress, and work, then do reach out to us. And if you want the plan of how Bart got his business to that 7-figure performance, then just click on the link below and we will show you how we help recruitment businesses to leverage more opportunities and make more placements. So you can just click on the link below to get the whole plan. Bart, thank you so much for being my guest today. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. So insightful. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Katie. Thanks for asking.
All right, everybody. So take care today and we will see you again very soon.